From Wits and Weights, I'm Philip Pape, and this is Nutrition Science Daily, bringing you the latest in nutrition, fat loss, and health science all in under 5 minutes. As plant-based diets become more popular, milk alternatives like almond, oat, and soy milk are flying off the shelves. But how do these substitutes stack up nutritionally against traditional dairy milk? A recent study in the Journal of the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics has revealed that most plant-based milks fall short of dairy milk's nutritional profile. And so this raises questions about their role in your diet. The study examined over 200 plant-based milk products and compared their protein, calcium, and vitamin content to that of cow's milk. While some alternatives like soy milk came close to matching dairy's protein levels, most like almond, rice, and coconut milk had significantly less protein and inconsistent, we'll say, fortification with calcium and vitamin D. Now, dairy milk has long been a staple due to its high-quality protein, calcium, essential vitamins like B12. Its protein content is about 8 grams per cup, and that's super beneficial if you're trying to build muscle, if you're trying to feel full. In contrast, many plant-based milks offer very little protein, maybe 1 to 2 grams per serving, which make them far less ideal as a protein source specifically. And we'll come back to that. Fortification is another issue because some plant-based milks are fortified, some are not. The amounts vary. We're talking calcium, vitamin D. And if you are relying on them for that, just be aware. Like if you were drinking a bunch of cow's milk and now you've switched to a different type of milk, and all of a sudden now you're somewhat deficient in calcium and vitamin D as a result, that could be why. Now, plant-based milks have a lot of things going for them, right? If you're lactose intolerant, or if you have milk allergies, if you have dietary restrictions, if you're vegan or vegetarian, these all provide a viable option. They're also lower in calories and saturated fat. So I use almond milk in my oatmeal, and I might use it in some beverages just for that reason, to give kind of the feel of milk, but without the calories or the fat in that context. If I'm trying to get the calories, if I'm trying to get the protein, and I'm trying to get what's in milk, I'm going to drink milk. So it really comes down to what is the reason you're drinking these things. And the reason I wanted to talk about the study today is just so you know what those differences are, what the pros and cons are. And so if you want to choose the right option, what do you want to consider? The first one is always check the label. Some people are surprised when they hear, oh, almond milk is basically just water with a little bit of almond. I mean, it's really not much in there, right? Soy milk, though, is a lot closer to milk nutritionally and kind of the thickness and everything else. So always read the label just to know what you're getting at with the macros, calories, and the ingredients. Number 2 is know why the heck you are picking the particular milk. Is it for protein? Is it for the taste? Is it because it's low calorie? Like, is it because of your values? Know why you're picking it. And then number 3, rotate things around. Experiment with different types of milk. It's even with dairy milk, you've got other brands like Fairlife that are filtered to have even more protein. There's different flavors. There's lots of different variety out there. So experiment and play around and see which ones fit what. And honestly, we end up keeping 2 or 3 in our house at any one time. So it's not a mutually exclusive thing. Now, some people are worried about the environmental impact of plant-based versus dairy milk. And you could argue that maybe it's a little bit less for plant-based. Almond and oat milk require less land and water to produce. And maybe that's a concern for you. But again, I'm not ever going to knock dairy milk because I think it's an amazing source of calories, and it's actually quite cheap for the profile that you get out of it. And so the bottom line here is that any of these things can fit into your overall healthy dietary matrix. It depends on the protein, the nutrient density, the strengths, the limitations, what you're trying to get for your informed choices based on your lifestyle. And that's it. If this episode gave you a little different perspective on milk alternatives, great. I encourage you to follow our main podcast, Wits and Weights, if you want to get into the dirty details of evidence-based nutrition and sustainable, flexible dieting. Share this episode with someone curious about the different milk alternatives. And tomorrow we're going to dive into a fascinating new technology that uses AI and depth sensing to estimate the nutritional content of food with incredible accuracy. Don't miss it.